here
on Hard Facts. On Hard Facts.
Hello, Lagos. Good afternoon. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili, and these are your hard facts. They didn't let me work from home after I told you yesterday on the Big Three that they said that we should all be working from home or coming in late because of the keke ban. No more. My management, did as if they were not listening to Big Three yesterday. I don't know what to make of that. Anyway, you and I cannot even complain. Our own movement is not during rush hour. That's for you if you have to go to work at the time I have to go to work. I'm sure around these times, Danfos are probably even begging customers to enter. But it's almost 3, so probably not. Rush hour is already building, I think. I don't know. But, HR or no HR, we're going to be here on Hard Facts, bringing you the best insights into today's most important topics. We bring them to you, break them down, give you the facts, and you can form an informed opinion. And any show you miss, you can catch online at Nigeria Info FM on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter. I have a great show for you today. We're starting with the Big Three as always. Lagos State Government and VIS deny a crackdown on ride-hailing platform drivers. Inflation rises to highest level in almost 2 years. And High Court stops INEC from deregistering 35 parties. On Community U Report, Sandra Ezekwesili will be out and about bringing you stories from your different communities. And on the Big Hard Fact, we're discussing the Lagos State Government's preparations to protect us from coronavirus. Hopefully, we're going to have the Commissioner for Health on the show with us at that time. At 6 p.m., we're bringing you the news and then handing you over to Rufai Useni. As usual throughout the show, let's bring you the latest updates from the world of news, sports, entertainment. But right now, we're starting with the Big Three.
This is the Big Three.
The Big Three on Hard Facts
on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
You know what to expect on the Big Three, stories that everyone is talking about right now. Do you believe VIS or do you believe ride-hailing drivers? Is the border closure worth higher prices? Are our courts sanitizing politics or complicating it? These are our questions. Now, at 3:45, we're going to hand over to the guys from Raleigh Academy. So we're going to try as much as possible to get through these stories as quickly as we can. The Lagos State Government has denied that the Vehicle Inspection Service is targeting drivers on ride-hailing platforms. The government, in a Twitter thread, said the VIS is simply doing its job, which is checking to make sure that cars and drivers on the roads have all their proper documentation, including roadworthiness certificate, vehicle license, insurance certificate, hackney permit, and Lasdri card for all commercial commuter vehicles. The government also denied the allegation by some ride-hailing platform drivers that VIS officers are demanding 110,000 naira in operational license fees from them, calling it a, quote, ploy to win public sympathy, end of quote. The government says it has apprehended 1,000 vehicles in the current enforcement exercise, 20 of which were operated on ride-hailing platforms. So first of all, we're having conflicting stories from the government and the drivers. The government is saying that they are not targeting anybody, that there is no crackdown, that they're just enforcing the current laws, and whoever they catch, they catch. But the ride-hailing guys are saying, no, we are being targeted. Remember, we interviewed some of them here on Hard Facts. Wemimo and Sheriff also interviewed them on Morning Crossfire. And many other people have been speaking on social media. And a lot of them are saying that VIS officers are using the apps to book a ride. And when they arrive to pick up the customer, they get raided by VIS. Now, if that's true, that's clearly a situation where they're being targeted, not a random check on the road. But that leads to a second question. If these ride-hailing guys are breaking the rules, does it matter whether they're being targeted or not? If you break the law and you get caught, you shouldn't complain. And when we talked to the drivers on the show about that, they made a point. They said some of the laws being enforced on them should not be enforced on them because they are not commercial drivers. These are private cars that sometimes use these apps to get some revenue. But according to LASDRI, the Lagos State Drivers Institute, as long as you make any money by driving, you are a commercial driver. So there's a dispute there as well. And some observers have said this is happening because the laws are old. They need to be updated for the 21st century. When they were written, there was nothing like apps. And we've seen many countries and cities change their laws to treat these ride-hailing drivers as something different from regular taxis. But let's bring you into the conversation. Who do you believe? VIS or the drivers? Are you a VIS officer? Are you a driver on one of the apps? Call us and tell us your side of the story. 01277 0993, 01277 1993, 01277 2993, and 01277 3993. You can also send us a WhatsApp message. WhatsApp is 080 959 75805. 080 959 75805. Hello. Thanks for calling. Hello. Okay, so we have a new system here, and I'm going to try and figure out how it works. So let's see. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name?
Yeah, my name is Toba.
Your name is?
My name is Toba.
Toba, welcome. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Are you a driver, first of all?
Yes, I am. I'm
Okay.
a driver, actually.
Okay.
First and foremost, I was actually listening to your program earlier this morning when the VIS boss came in to discuss this matter. I would like to say that they are not telling us the truth.
Who's not telling us the truth?
The VIS boss.
I see.
They are not telling us the truth.
Okay.
I have witnessed various colleagues of mine who have gotten their vehicles impounded simply because they told those people that they should go and meet Uber for operational license. It's been very, very frustrating to see even the VIS officers attempting to forcefully collect drivers' phones to check if they are on Uber platforms or not, which is a breach of the fundamental human rights of an individual, especially in Lagos State. So the government really needs to look into this and profile a solution. Let them come out clean and tell us they don't. Uber doesn't have an operational license, and tell the drivers what next to do instead of beating around the bush and denying claims that are already true and vivid, especially with clear video evidences and clear pictorial evidences of receipts. Receipts don't lie. Receipts from banks don't lie.
Okay.
So why would they deny the fact that they are not issuing out receipts for people saying that they don't have operational license? Why are they doing that? So they need to come out clean and tell us that. Thanks.
Thanks for calling me. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon. What's your name, sir?
Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Shandy, calling from Lagos.
Shandy, go ahead. You're live on the show.
Yeah, the other guys are lying. I mean, the IV guys.
The VIS?
Yeah, they're lying. I mean, I'm a driver too, so I work my ass off every day to feed my family. So who do you think is lying? Is it me that is trying to survive, working under the sun 247, or the government that already said? The one that are lying. I mean, we have everything provided. They are just.
So what? That's unfortunate. Okay. Unfortunately, we've lost that connection. But I want to find out what exactly you say they are lying about, because it's one thing to say, who do you think is lying? Me who has this, or them who have that, and all of that. Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Oh, I'm so happy I got it this afternoon.
Oh, what's your name, sir? Welcome.
I'm Ayodele from Unilag.
Okay, Ayodele, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm one of the Uber certified drivers.
Okay.
Though I've not been arrested, but
Okay.
I used to dodge them. You see, in the morning, I was so annoyed this morning when Wemima was anchoring the crossfire. That the man they invited there were not being truthful.
Okay.
He came on program and started speaking for on something that is affecting thousands of people.
Okay.
It's not being truthful, and women doesn't know how to tell him to his face that this is not being truthful. And the other guy that called himself our president is jittery. He's fearing too. I've been praying this morning that you should bring this program up again this afternoon. I have about 4 people that their cars are still being impounded. There's one that they asked him to go and pay 60,000. The guy has to leave the car there, tell the owner to go and clear it off. And when we talk about operational license, please, and where will a driver that is paying 30,000 naira to car owner, he gets 110,000 naira? Before any company comes to Nigeria to operate, I think they get license. If not, it means there are some people at the top.
But let me ask you something. Are you saying that the guy who's speaking on behalf of drivers is not your president? Because you said the guy who calls himself our president wasn't really talking.
Why I said that is because he's jittery. He cannot speak, he's speaking as if he's being intimidated this morning. Unlike the way he used to speak before, when he's being invited to that to your studio there.
Okay.
He was fearful the way he spoke this morning, and when not too. In fact, I was highly disappointed this morning, and I was praying since morning because I tried all my possible best to call him, but it wasn't going through. So I've been praying that you should come up with this program again. They are not being sincere with us.
You're not being sincere. Thank you for calling us to share your thoughts with us on the show. Let's move on to our second story, but you can still talk about the first story when you call us. You're listening to the Big Three on 99.3 Nigeria Info. It's 25 minutes past 3.
Stay right here on the Big Three on 99.3 Nigeria Info. This is the Big Three.
The Big Three on Hard Facts
On 99.3 Nigeria Info.
27 minutes past 3. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili. Our first story told you that the Lagos State Government and VIS are denying that they're cracking down on ride-hailing platform drivers. I told you that we have conflicting stories from the government and the drivers. The government is saying that they're not targeting anybody, that there's no crackdown. But the drivers are saying we are being targeted. I told you how we interviewed some of them on Hard Facts, told you how another conversation was had this morning on the morning crossfire. I've been seeing a lot of tweets on Twitter, posts on Facebook, and a lot of them are saying that VIS officers are using the apps to book a ride. And when they arrive to pick up the customer, they get raided by the VIS. Now, if that is true, it is actually a targeted situation. They are actually being targeted. But that brings us to a second question. If these drivers are breaking the rules, does it matter whether they are being targeted or not? If you break the law and you get caught, you should not complain. Now, when we talked to the drivers on the show about that, they made a point. They said that some of the laws being enforced on them should not be enforced on them. So things like them carrying a Lasdri card or Hackney permit, those things should not be required of them. But Lasdri themselves said that if you are making money as a driver, any money at all, you are a commercial driver. So there's a dispute there as well. And some people are saying that this is happening because we don't have 21st century laws, and perhaps this situation will lead to everybody coming back to the table and having us draft laws that actually benefit everybody. Because let's not forget that these drivers are providing an essential service to citizens of Lagos, the residents of Lagos. They wouldn't be doing what they were doing if the Lagos State Government had, for instance, put in place all they needed as far as transportation is concerned. But that's it for that story. I want to hear from you. I want to hear your thoughts, even as we move on to the second one, where inflation has reached its highest level in 21 months. That's almost 2 years. The Consumer Price Index in January rose to 12.13%, up from 11.98% in December. Recall that late last year, the finance minister acknowledged that the border closure has been the major contributor to the rise in food inflation, which is the largest driving factor in the increased consumer price index. So prices keep rising. And because the border doesn't seem to be opening anytime soon, there is no end in sight. More than half of Nigerians are living in poverty. When prices go up, the poor feel it worse than everybody else. When food prices go up, more and more of the poor starve. Yesterday, we talked on the Big Hard Fact about child beggars on the street. And lots of people who called into the show pointed to poverty and difficulty for parents to find food. Well, guess what? Inflation, especially food inflation, doesn't help matters, does it? But apart from the poor, we all feel inflation. Nonso Bikili, the chief economist on Business Day, is often a guest here on Hard Facts. And he once said something that I will never forget. He said, when food prices go up, every business in the country must raise prices because the business owners must feed themselves. So food prices raise every other price. So once a policy affects food prices, it affects the entire price structure in the country. And since even the government itself has acknowledged that the border closure is behind this inflation, we have to ask the tough question. Is the border closure worth it? Supporters of the policy will point to increase in rice production. Has that affected rice prices? By the way, the border closure has brought down our palm oil exports. The new figures just came out. Now, the government closed the border to force our neighbors to start obeying ECOWAS trade rules. It's a very good objective. My question now is, has it worked? Are Benin Republic and Niger Republic playing ball with us now? Has this policy that is raising prices for the poorest Nigerians, has it given us what we want from Benin and Niger? No? Well, how much longer will it take? The border has been closed for almost half a year. How far? How much longer do we wait? Another half year? How much longer can Nigerians hold on? Let me ask you, 01277 0993, 01277 1993, 01277 2993, and 01277 3993. And yes, when you call, you can still talk about the first story on the Big Three today. Hello.
Hello?
Turn your radio off. What's your name, sir?
I'm Shegun.
Shegun, welcome. Go ahead.
I'm one of the Uber drivers.
Okay.
So I want to talk about all this thing that we are talking about, VIO, pardon card, is the fault is from the company. Because the company does not value the driver.
Okay.
If they value us, in last year, I can see how many drivers they keep on the platform. Even my friend of mine, it happened to him. And eventually they went to the company. The company said he couldn't have some credential. They cannot attend to them and all that. So the company is not even helping the matter. If the company is helping the matter, the VI or what they call, they cannot be doing what they are doing now. But the company are trying a way to do their duty because they are just there to make their own percentage. They are not there to care for us. That is what we are facing now. See, Lagos, most of us are graduates. We no work. This is what we are doing to feed our family. Because me, I've already said on my own, I'll see for if a VI will stop me, I can do my work on him.
I hope not.
That is what I said.
I hope not, Shegun. Thanks for calling me. I'm so sorry that you're dealing with what you are. We've got Kunle Oye on Twitter who says, personally, I cannot believe the government VIS because it seems that the present government in Lagos is inflicting hardship on its citizens in phases by believing they are widening the tax net. The VIS chief cannot categorically answer if Uber has operating license or not. Caleb Zadok says, after you people... Oh, no, that's a different message entirely. Michael Olusegun Fawole on Twitter says, the VIS guy was just acting the script of his masters. He kept saying evidence should be brought even when a video and a receipt was sent. Lest I forget, he should stop... okay, I'm not going to say that on my air, but thank you for sending that message across. Now let's go to WhatsApp where we have messages as well. WhatsApp, by the way, is 080-959-75805. Sandra, I'm Samuel from Ikoyi. During Fashioners' time, no operational license. During Ambode's time, no operational license. And Uber have been in existence. Now, Sanwo-Olu knows the law more than them all. Please, the VIS boss said this morning that Danfos have operational license and yellow taxis. I think that's a lie. All right, Samuel, thanks for sending that message across. We've got another message here. And it says, the Lagos State Government right now is in a state of confusion concerning how to go about transportation in the state. First, they ban tricycle or Okada riders. Now Uber drivers. Kilo Shele Gong. All right, Adeboyega, thank you so much for sending that across. I'm quite impressed with myself that I could read that Yoruba. The Lagos State Government and its agency VIS should be bold enough to hold Uber to account. They should leave the poor drivers alone, Sadiq Ibrahim. There's a bigger conversation to be had here about whose responsibility this should be. Should it be the drivers or should it be the company that employs or partners with the drivers? That's a conversation that we should definitely have. Now, I understand that they're working on my phone lines, so you may not be able to call in right now, but it's a good time to get on Facebook. Share your thoughts with me on Facebook. Nigeria Info 99.3, that's Facebook. Twitter is at Nigeria Info FM. I want to read your thoughts as well. And WhatsApp is 080-959-75805. Right now, you cannot call into the show, but you can definitely get on Facebook. You can definitely get on WhatsApp, and you can definitely tweet at us. And if you want to send a text to that number, that's also okay. That number is 080-959-75805. All right, so let's see the messages that we have currently on Facebook. Wow, it's a lot of messages. Okay, we have and Nuhu Al Hassan who says, please, what's the full meaning of VIS, or is it VIO that we know? Now VIS. It's the same people. Yes, it's the same organization. VIO, VIS, same organization. Akandemo Richala Abiola says, Lagos State Government should try and be considerate. They should not push citizens to the wall with their harsh policies. All right, Akande. We have somebody... Okay. All right. So let's go back to the messages from Facebook. Okay. All right, taking that one. All right, let's move on to our final story. The Federal High Court in Abuja has temporarily stopped INEC from deregistering 35 political parties. These are some of the 74 parties that INEC announced earlier this month that it will deregister because they failed to meet the performance requirements in the 2019 general elections. 35 of the parties took INEC to court and applied for a motion to stop their deregistration while the case was being heard. The judge said INEC failed to object to the motion and it was granted automatically. In a separate case, the Supreme Court has started hearing the request by the Imo State People's Democratic Party to review its judgment removing Emeka Ihedioha from the governorship in the state and replacing him with Hope Uzodinma of the All Progressives Congress. Today, Ihedioha and the PDP asked the court for more time to plead their case, and the proceedings were adjourned until next month. So I'm trying to, I see these stories and I'm trying to understand something. PDP and Ihedioha ask the Supreme Court to review its own judgment because it has errors. Supreme Court gives them a date to come and show the errors. And their response is, we need time to go and prepare our case some more. And the court agrees. I'm going to need lawyers to call into the show and tell me whether all of this is normal. I mean, if they already spotted the error and they are the ones bringing the case, I'm talking about Ihedioha's people, shouldn't they be ready? And then you move on to this party deregistration matter. When you talk to the electoral law experts and the electoral system experts, they all tell you the same thing. They say that party deregistration and registration should be an automatic process, a bureaucratic process. The rules should be clear. It should be enshrined in law. And when a party doesn't meet them, fiam, automatic removal. So when the registration matters end up in court and it's a sign that the system has not been properly designed or that somebody is perverting the system somewhere. Now, we talked about an official of one of the affected parties. We talked with an official of one of the affected parties, and they accepted that in the general elections last year, they failed to meet any of the tests to remain registered. But what they're pinning their hopes on is that INEC didn't wait for local government elections to be held in every state. So they're basically saying, is INEC sure that if local government elections held everywhere, we wouldn't win a seat? Now, here's the problem with that. We don't know if every state will hold local government area elections. Some states are refusing to do that. So does that not now mean that INEC should never deregister a party? And here's another question. If INEC is sure that these parties should be deregistered, why didn't INEC object to their motion in court? And it takes me back to the very first question I asked when I was introducing the show. Are the courts helping us clarify these election matters, or are they making things more confusing? Do you think the court should have let PDP postpone the case in Imo? 01277 0993, 01277 1993, 01277 2993, and 01277 3993. Okay, we've got Hanose, I think. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
What's your name, sir?
My name is Onyekachi.
Onyekachi, welcome. Go ahead.
All right, Sandra. I wanted to make a comment on two issues.
Okay.
First is as regards the clampdown by
VIS?
VIS officials against the e-hailing drivers. I think the director of the VIS that was in the station earlier today was being economical with the truth and wouldn't want to actually deal with the issues clearly raised by the drivers.
Okay.
I think there should be a legal backing for every single item of enforcement. I didn't hear him make reference to such laws, empowering them to enforce on those items as technical permits and operation license. And then his assertion that all commercial drivers in Lagos have those is subject to review. So I think he should clearly and concisely communicate with the audience who are listening, rather than talking as if he's attending one United Nations conference where phonetics are the order of the day. I don't think he did well in that. So on the second issue about the proceedings at the Supreme Court today, you were asking if it is proper. Of course it is. As a lawyer, there are proceedings or procedural steps you take in every case. Election petitions are a class of their own, or what they call in law sui generis. It's something that covers a vast area. In election, it's like the governorship election, the whole state is a constituency on it. There were infractions that the PDP noted, and it will take them time to regulate those whole issues, especially as regards the computation of results, how the Supreme Court arrived at the numbers they assigned to the APC guy. And because we understand that the total number of votes cast at the time the Supreme Court gave judgment is more than the total number of voters, accredited voters for the election. So they will have to pick this polling unit by polling unit.
And that's not something they already have before you go and ask for a review of the judgment?
You file certain applications. The motion already before the court is a notification that we want a review. So they are asking for an extension of time. It's not an anomaly in legal proceedings to ask for an extension of time to do what you ought to do.
Okay,
you want to put your house in order. For your part in one beat before you come to the court, finally to adjudicate over the issue and give a ruling or a judgment one way or another.
Okay. Well, thanks for calling to share that with me. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have on the Big Three today. Big Three returns tomorrow at 3:15. Join us at that time. After the conversation with the guys at Raleigh Academy, let's talk on Community U Report. Chukwudi Ezugu is in Oba, in a community where they've not had light in months. Yes, that's happening in 2020. I am Sandra Ezekwesili. It's 15 minutes to 4.
This is a paid announcement.